Hello, we are Team SMA Futures. Our challenge owner is NHS Project Futures. They'd like us to use their social media data to gain insight and understanding into their engagement within their online community. They have limited resources, so they'd like advice on which areas of free media to focus on. The social media team would like to know the most efficient way to engage their community whilst getting more value from their time, while the outreach team would like to build the community and maximise loyalty. We received a folder containing multiple CSV files with different measures spread across different CSV files that we needed to connect. To make the most of our time, we made a plan to establish what needed to be visualized, explore the data, concatenate and clean the data, create the dashboard, make our statistical inferences, and propose future directions on our findings. To enable us to track Twitter engagements over time, we were required to concatenate all of the CSV files into one single file. Using the external YouTube API, we're able to attain more data for each video, such as the video length, which helped us to look deeper into the video content. We came across a few challenges within the data where some data wasn't informative, or we had inconsistencies, or we had gaps in the data. But our biggest problem was that the LinkedIn profile is a personal rather than a business.
We drilled down into the data exploration side of things. Looking into the Twitter data, we found that engagement was highest in tweets that contain media content, be that images or video. We get higher engagement when tweets are published. Tweeting more than once per day doesn't actually increase engagement more than just tweeting once. When we looked into the YouTube data, we found that certain key phrases or keywords in video titles equated to an increase in views. NHS was found to increase the number of views significantly. When we looked into the LinkedIn data, unfortunately, due to the profile type, the data provided offered very limited insights into community engagement, but we did have a look into connections. So we know that the highest number of connections occurred in October, and that the majority of the connections, so 60%, were with people in roles related to project management.
Our first tab is our Twitter tab. You can see all along the top, we have our summary of our engagements and impressions. We have our day of the week analysis. Nothing is posted on the weekends, but we can see engagement. So that suggests they're engaging with earlier content. We have our tweets, impressions by date. We can see peaks in September and December. On engagements by date, again, we see those same things, and we can dial down where we can see those peaks. So if we use this date range up here, we can see exactly which dates did the best, and also the engagements that are causing these spikes. And we do have a summary here of the engagements where we can see what sort of engagements we're getting. So with YouTube, we have a summary at the top. However, because we don't have impressions by day, just by video, it does limit what we can do, and it does mean that we can't use the same sort of slider as in the last one. We can see our keyword titles, which backs up our theory from before: project, futures, NHS. We have our subscribers gained, which at the moment is just on a by video basis, but it would be good to have a cumulative one in future. We could show new subscribers along with people who've unsubscribed. We also have our video length time, which shows our optimal area is here, and again we can see our video titles and what is done best. So for our LinkedIn tab, we don't have as much information to go by, but our connections all match what we had in the data from R. So manager, program, project, and again, the top positions are the same. We can see we're not sharing our YouTube links enough on LinkedIn, but also our connections gained. It would be much better cumulatively with connections and follows if it was an actual business profile. And in regards to website engagement, we have our day of the week analysis down here, which shows that our first day people tend to start on a Monday, and then they drop off for their long term after Tuesday and Wednesday. So maybe we need to start looking at a pick me up to get people back on the platform during the end of the week. And with some unique user data, we would be able to pull some meaningful insight and track the data of where people actually are dropping off to see how we can engage them and pull them back in. And we can do that through frequency and recency. We can see that our 28-day active users make up 51% of our total active users, and that quickly goes down to 16% for the last 7 days. So this is something that would be very useful to look into. With all that in mind, our plan for the future: use the highest engaged words from the YouTube titles across all social media, create a LinkedIn profile to allow people to add it to their profile if they want to from involvement. It'll make it easier for searchers and also for our engagement measures. If we use more media and tweets, we can increase community engagement through community photos and infographics, advertise the K-Hub across all of the social media platforms and direct traffics between them. Question 1. How does your solution cope with future data being added to the dataset as more social media data is collected? Well, we suggest building an automated pipeline to allow seamless automated transition into the dashboard. So refresh data in shared areas such as SharePoint or OneDrive to pull through to Power BI. And then as data gets bigger, we can add to a database rather than CSV files. Question 2. What insights can be gained from comparing different sites' data to each other? So it's quite difficult to compare because the metrics are very different. When we're basing views as engagement is currently higher on YouTube, but it's not really the best measure to use. So we should use other engagement types like likes, comments, shares. Video content is best measured using video-centric metrics such as view-through rate, completion by quartiles, and should be treated much differently to LinkedIn and Twitter. But based on data from the same time period, content reached more people on Twitter compared to YouTube. Due to issues with LinkedIn data, we didn't have enough data to make meaningful comparisons. Question 3. How does a dashboard help drive strategy now and in the future? It provides an easily digestible overview of the data, allowing people to identify key trends so that we can improve engagement through things that have worked in the past. And also it can continuously provide feedback so that we can always be improving